And the Penguin, episode 5, Homecoming. Probably the slowest and worst episode of the series, but again, it's still good. Let's talk about it. Alright, guys, Brent here back with Variants. Cover all things Marvel, DC, Lord of the Rings, anime, gaming, Star Wars, and more. This time, DC's Penguin Episode 5, Homecoming, and with me, as always, for all things DC, the man whose opinion you actually care about, Tony. Your thoughts on this episode?
Well, let me just get it out the way and say this was, in my opinion, the worst of the episodes. And that's not saying that it wasn't good because it was good. It was just slow. It had some questions that, on characters on were they important for this episode, Dr. Rush? Um, but it wasn't bad. This one felt more like the filler episode that we were waiting for. It did give us Sophia kill, admitting that she killed off her family. It gave us her basically wiping out the last remnants of her family by killing Vito in front of everybody to get the rest of the underlings to follow her. It got us giving, changing the name to Gigantor or whatever her name was. But all this could have been solved. This whole episode could have been condensed down from almost an hour to about 25, 30 minutes, and you could have added more content in to make it more interesting. But I mean, did we need to see, 10 minutes of Vic getting Penguin's mom into a building? Because that's what it felt like. Did we have to see Squid on the outside and nothing happened after he saw Vic? Because looking at his point of view, he clearly could see Vic with an old white woman. That sticks out to anybody. And we didn't get a payoff on that, which would have been better, but I don't know where this episode was supposed to go. For me, it was okay. It's still a great episode, but looking at the first episodes and rewatching them and then coming to this, it's like you could tell it was a drop off. Not a big one, but it's still a
Noticeable.
drop. Yeah, it's a noticeable drop.
Yeah, it's like as far as the episode is concerned, like having Vidi brought in the way that he was to ultimately just be Sophia's basically asserting herself as the Gigante family. She wants to make sure that she is the most prominent member and people understand exactly what her perspective is, what
Yep.
she's about, and how she handles business. That's the reason she was straight up like, "Yep, I got rid of my whole family, and don't think I won't do the same to any of you." And then, of course, Vidi decides to, start barking up, start chirping at her, think, "Hey, what are you doing with this? What's the purpose of this?" And then she puts one right in his skull, and then you kind of get the idea of why she brought him. She only needed him to get everyone gathered, and then after that, she was using him to be like, "Look, that was the last vestige of my family. I just took care of him right in front of you guys. What do you guys think about that? Anyway, here's a whole bunch of money. Him and his ilk robbed you blind. They took advantage of you and used you only as labor and your unmade men. How would you like to change that?" And from most people and most perspectives, more money, less problems.
Yep.
So they are full on board. They're all excited to see what Sophia can do. We had a lot of big moving pieces as far as Bliss was concerned because we had Penguin using TikTok of all things to figure out what the Maroney Jr. was after, where he was going to be. They intercept him, use him as a bargaining chip against his mother and against his family. Ultimately, his mother and the son are now a little crispy, so we will not be seeing them at all for any point in the future. To
Only in flashbacks.
Oh yeah, they are long since gone, just like the pearls down the drain. Will not be coming back or be revisited. We saw that Sal was supposed to meet the same fate and was eventually just jumped by one of the guards who put one right in between his ribs. Unfortunately for the guard, Sal's apparently stronger, better, faster, or just smarter. And turns out he survived, albeit with, rather serious wounds. And he was able to make the call to the penguin, be like, look, there's not a place you can run. There's not a place you can hide. I'm going to find you. I'm going to assert myself and assert what is mine. There's not a
Yep.
single place that is safe in Gotham for you, period. And then while he's out there, licking his wounds, Sophia gets, Dr. Rush showing up and basically kissing up to her and be like, I saw what you did. I know what happened entirely. I want to work for you. I want to be with you.
I
Whatever,
want to
whatever that
feel
next step
how it
is.
feels.
It's like the writing on that was subpar or was delivered terribly. Like we've all been building up Dr. Rush to be either Scarecrow or Hugo Strange or insert anonymous villain here. He just has these bits and pieces where he's not moving the story along, but he just keeps appearing. And most directors, when you have a character keep appearing, even in specific situations where they're not called for, they turn out to be important characters, and that's kind of what we're a shoo-in for. But
Yep.
where we're at with things, it feels like a bit of a letdown that he just wants to be the lapdog for Sophia. Maybe he's just in love. Maybe he's supposed to be in this weird romance interest, and maybe she'll be keen on it. Maybe she won't be. Who knows? Sophia has proven that she is not the hangman, but she's capable of living up to the moniker when time comes for push to be shoved. And that was more evident when she went and met with Salvatore out in the woods and tried to basically like, look, we both hate Oz. Our families have been made stupid because of him. Let's fix our issues. Let's go directly to war with them. What were your thoughts on that? Do you think the Maronis and the Gigantes are going to ultimately be able to make this work, considering their his family's bad blood?
Well, it was the Falcons and the Maronis, with the Gigantes being a new entity, I guess. I don't think Sal is going to trust her. I think they'll work together, but the trust factor is not going to be there, and it shouldn't be. You know, you can call yourself whatever you want. You're still a Falcon. I've always known you as a Falcon. You can't just come up and say, "Well, I'm this now," and I'm like, no, that's not how it's gonna work. Your family is still at war with my family, but at the moment, your enemy is my enemy, so we are friends. That's how it's gonna work out. But once this enemy is dispatched, you're next,
Mm-hmm.
and that's I think how Sal is looking at it. I think
Yeah, but
he's gonna go
he put
into an
Sophia in the
uneasy.
driver's seat.
Yeah, he's gonna go into an because he has more manpower than she does. He knows this. She's not really a threat to him yet. But the problem is, if he lets her do what she wants, she's gonna become a threat. No matter
Because
what
once she
kind of
realizes
partnership.
she's got that bite, it's
Right.
gonna be a problem. The men are gonna be like, I kind of like what the Gigantes are selling over there. I kind of like what's going on here. Is like, and I saw how much it made a fool of you, Maroni, and now she's like got you wrapped around her finger, making things go in this direction.
I
It's
mean,
gonna be a whole problem.
she already showed that only thing she got to do is offer him a little bit of money and a promise of getting made, and their loyalties might shift.
Hmm.
So, but we'll see.
There's a lot of big pieces moving forward. We got a lot of interesting stuff going on. Vidi is basically iced. Bliss, only 2 buckets were survived. And the Penguin ultimately found his new little hangout spot to where he can start making this Operation Moon. Again, what happens with Squid? We'll probably see in the next coming episodes because, again, I think that's more of a Chekhov's gun where we have seen basically the pieces in play for Squid because he's been told he's been bad for like 3 or 4 episodes. Now let's see just how bad this individual is moving forward. What is bad is if you're not subscribed to the channel, as it greatly helps us out. And clearly, if you listen to us talk for 9 minutes, clearly there's something here you really enjoy on seeing. And if you're new to the channel, be sure to watch as much content as you possibly can. Tons of great stuff on the channel, whether it be Supermarket Simulator, Baldur's Gate 3 Honor Mode potentially running. We still have a couple votes available for what you guys want to see next pertaining to gaming. Dan to Dan and Dragon Ball Daima with Agatha all along, still kicking in full gear. Anything else you want to say to the folks, Tony?
I mean, watch this series. Watch this limited series. Is still a great watch. Iron Man is always gonna suck, but the acting in this episode is was still on par with the previous episodes. Let's not get that twisted. It was still great acting. Every character came to life. you cared about these characters. When Vidi died, I was like, wait, what? Just what? Really? So it did have some good points. It's just it was a little slow. I can't help say that enough. It was. But
Yeah.
besides that, I enjoyed the. I still enjoyed the episode.
And just to finish things off the correct way, Iron Man sucks.